The air outside feels thick, like I'm breathing through a pair of dirty gym socks. It's a high radiation day. Most everyone will be staying inside, but I need to hunt for some work. I always like to start the day with the traditional PI breakfast. That hits the spot. On the top floor of this place is where I hang my hat. It's not much, but it's better than... well, it's not much. Chelsea's a hot little number. I hear she's a mutant, but it doesn't show. The only weird thing about her is she won't go out with me. Chelsea Bando's the kind that could hold her own with anyone, but she has a way of turning my knees to jelly. She's a mutant just like everyone else in this part of town, but she's a real beauty.
Well, hello, stranger.
Tell me, gorgeous, has the new True Detective come in yet?
Yeah, but you gotta pay for it this time. Hey, when you finish a magazine, it is in no condition to sell.
Well, think of it this way, Chelsea. Reading True Detective makes me a better PI, and good PIs are hard to find.
Well, you know, Tex, you just might have a chance to show how good a PI you are. Hey, had you heard that Rook's place got robbed?
No, I didn't. What do you know about it?
Rook acts like a tough guy, but he's a softie. Just don't tell him that to his face. Oh, you know me, Tex. I'm just making ends meet. I love Louis, but his friendliness doesn't fool me. He's a sharp one. He knows everything that's going on in this neighborhood. Franny's a live wire. Either she or Sal is going to do time for killing the other one. I have never seen a couple fight like they do. Sal's a handful. He's a nice guy, but I don't know, I feel kind of naked when he gives me the eye. Luckily, Ardo seems to like me. I mean, if I were on his bad side, I'd be tempted to relocate. He could crush a Subaru with one hand. Wish I could help you there, Tex. Yeah, you know, I remember Rook told me about the burglary. You know, I remember a stranger hanging around the past couple of days. It might be a dead end, but I seem to remember that the guy had these bright green eyes and a tattoo of an anchor on his arm.
Chelsea keeps a well-stocked selection of magazines. I wish I could afford to buy a couple. Life hasn't been the same since my True Detective subscription ran out. Chelsea runs a first-rate newsstand. Surprisingly, the auto postbox has no graffiti on it. Maybe people around here are finally starting to respect our government and its fine agencies. The Postal Service has gotten much faster since the stamp price went to $10. I should get my credit card back tomorrow morning. Rook Garner runs this pawn shop. Rook Garner runs this pawn shop. I like to stand by these, waiting for a glimpse of Rita. My trusty 31 Lightning Bolt speeder. I still regret not getting the sunroof option. Rook Garner runs this pawn shop. He's a crusty old World War III vet with a face like a raisin and a tongue like a butcher's cleaver.
What do you want, Murphy?
Is this a bad time for a visit?
That depends on whether you're here to help me or to irritate me.
Why don't you tell me what's got you upset?
Last night, someone broke into my pawn shop. I don't usually have anything of great value, but yesterday I gave out a fair amount of cash for an extremely valuable diamond bracelet.
My deductive powers tell me the bracelet's no longer on the premises.
Brilliant work, Murphy.
When you're a seasoned PI, you pick up on these things. Now go on.
The bracelet was pawned by a young girl named Emma Nimpton. She said she hated to hawk a family heirloom, but had no choice. She said she would reclaim the bracelet in a month. Well, since the bracelet was worth 10 times the $8,000 I loaned her, it was a good deal for me.
Did you get any other information from this Emma Nimpton?
She left a phone number. I called her this morning, but the line is disconnected.
So do you have any leads on recovering the bracelet?
No, the police are a waste of time, and I can't afford to hire a decent PI.
I guess this means you don't consider me good enough to help track down the bracelet?
I'd appreciate your help. I'm not a rich man, but if you find the bracelet, I'll owe you a few favors, which could come in handy. Come back here and I'll show you where they broke in.
Rook takes me out back and shows me where the burglar broke in. The back window is busted out and the latch is ripped. It's a sloppy job. As I start my investigation, I'm looking for information to enter into my CrimeLink computer back at the office. One thing's for sure, Emma Nimpton won't be one of the suspects' names. Every PI worth his salt knows that's not my name spelled backwards. I don't usually enjoy piles of garbage, but they do add a lot of character to this alley. I wonder what all these garbage cans are doing around here. Maybe Rook is running a low-rent hostel. Looks like a shoe print is outlined in that sticky pool of something resembling chocolate. Footprints about a size 14. Like Rook always says, you can cut corners here and there, but there's nothing like a quality garbage can. These are empty jumbo-sized cans of Camel's chunky chocolate soup. Good. These disgusting piles of trash remind me of Aunt Betty's annual yard sales. The empty bottles of chocolate syrup lying all around this alley all look like they've been licked clean. An empty bottle of evanescent spring water for those with a higher class of thirst. These are empty jumbo-sized cans. The empty bottles of chocolate. It's one of those basketballs they used to give away at Weenie World. 10 seconds left. Down by 1. Murphy has the ball. He fakes. He drives. It's a 360. He's fouled. The baby rum wrapper looks like it was left recently. Yep, still warm. An empty bottle. Oh, man! This dumpster smells like 20-year-old mayonnaise, and I ought to know. Well, I'll be darned. Except for the filth and stench, the interior isn't much different than the average studio apartment. In fact, it's nicely furnished. Someone's been living here, and I wonder if he saw anything. The texture of the pavement surface is a cross between a spilled Coke and sandstone. I don't usually enjoy piles of... These disgusting piles of trash are... An empty bottle of evanescent spring water. Oh, man! This dumpster smells... These disgusting... The empty bottles of chocolate syrup lying all around this alley all look like they've been licked clean. Looks like a key of some kind. Well, obviously, the window was broken from the outside. Well, obviously, the window was... These disgusting pi... Well, obviously, the... This building that Rook runs his pawn shop out of is at least 120 years old, making it only slightly younger than Rook. Well, obviously, the window was broken from the outside. I don't usually enjoy piles of garbage. I don't usually... Shard of glass must have come from that broken window. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Looks like whoever broke into Rook's window left one of his hairs behind. Apparently our burglar is a Carrot Top. Whoa! This antique boombox worked. I bet it'd only play the Bee Gees. Well, I'll be darned. Except for the filth and stench, the interior isn't much different than the average studio apartment. In fact, this old relic probably hasn't worked in years. Hey, there are batteries in here. This rickety wooden fence keeps Rook's pawn shop and the Slice of Heaven pizza parlor from collapsing into each other. Oh, I would love to see my ex-mother-in-law squeeze through there. These posters somehow survived the big war. They're bitter reminders of the past glory of this great city. This is the brand new electronic shop outlet. No pun intended. I won't be able... This is the brand new electronic shop outlet. No pun intended. I won't be able to get inside the electronic shop until I get a membership card. On the top floor of this place is where I hang my hat. It's not much, but it's better than... well, it's not much. The Bijou Theater used to be quite a night spot. It was condemned years ago and could collapse any day. There's no way I'm going in there. Rusty the Clown's novelty shop. Closed down a few months ago after Rusty mysteriously disappeared. The police suspect foul play, but I think he probably just choked to death on his own bad jokes. These signs around here haven't been replaced in at least 50 years. The Golden Gate Hotel was once known as the Waldorf of the Pacific. Its halls are still sturdy, and the walls have worn well. But there's nobody living inside. The Acme Warehouse is the former Snow White dry cleaning building. Nobody's used this place in a while. Louis Laments runs the Brew and Stew, which is a local hangout. Francesca Lucido makes the spiciest pizza in the city. The only thing spicier than her cooking is her imagination. And right now she seems to have a thing for me. Francesca Lucido makes...
Well, it's that handsome P.I. Tex Murphy. Have you come to take me away?
How'd you guess? You must have seen my white horse hitched to the railing out front.
Oh my, Mr. Murphy, you certainly know how to excite a girl.
Well, that's what I've been told. I almost got my own 900 number before getting into the PI biz.
Well, I certainly would have subscribed. What can I do for you, Mr. Sexy Voice? Rook is a tough old geezer. I've known him ever since we opened the Slice of Heaven back in 32, but I can't say I know him very well. Chelsea is a nicer girl. Sal tries to flirt with her, but she doesn't give him the time of day. I like Louis. He runs a nicer place, and I go over there and chat with him when the business is slow. Well, I was hoping you'd get around to asking about me. I'm just a lonely, hot-blooded woman who needs the love of a good, strong man. Me and Sal got married too young, and it's been up and down ever since. I've had enough of his drinking and the womanizing, and I divorce him in a second, but he's got a couple of buddies who are top lawyers. If I had some hard evidence of his screwing around, I could divorce him and get a decent settlement. Ardo is an overgrown kid. He comes in here for the all-you-can-eat buffet, and I've got to kick him out every time. If I didn't, he'd eat everything we got. Can't help you, Tex. I heard that Rook's place got robbed. It scares me to death. There's so much crime in this part of the city. Sorry, I don't know anything about that. He was a weirdo who opened up a shop just down the street. That would have been a couple of years ago. The business went under in a hurry and the clown just disappeared.
Louis Laments runs the Brew and Stew, which is a local hangout. The Brew and Stew is run by Louis Laments, a bloated mutant with a heart bigger than his waistline. Everyone comes to Louis' cafe, so does all the street talk. If something's going on, Louis knows about it.
What can I do for you, Mike?
About a pitcher of beer and the love of a good woman, Louis.
I can't help you with the woman, Mike. Yeah, no problem with the beer, though. Put it on your tab?
Thanks, Louis. I should have some work soon, then I'll be able to pay my tab off first thing.
Don't worry about it, Mike. I know you're good for it. Rook's an ornery old cuss, but me and him are old buddies. We fought in the big war together. He's one person you can trust in these troubled times. Chelsea acts tough, but she has to be with all the scum around. And she's as smart as she is pretty. She knows a lot of what goes on in the shadows of this city. Yeah, things are a little slow, but I'm getting by. Having to lay off some of my kitchen help hurt my pride more than anything. Granny's a fireball. She and Sal opened a pizza place 7 to 8 years ago, and they've been fighting ever since. Ardo comes in now and again. Usually orders a couple of steaks and a chocolate milk. His temper's as short as he is tall, and he's only got one oar in the water. A bad combination. Sorry, Mike. Can't help you there. Rook's been robbed before, but he's never had anything really valuable taken. This is gonna set Rook back for a while. Too bad the cops have turned a blind eye. Rook told me about the bracelet, but I don't know anything more about it. He was a strange one. He had a show on TV for a while, got pretty popular. Then he quit the show and went into business. He opened up a shop right up the street from here. I guess he wasn't a very good businessman. The shop went out of business within a couple of months. Then Rusty just disappeared. I heard he'd made some enemies in the novelty trade.
Well, this is a section of the Bay City Mirror. It's a weekly newsletter that covers local goings-on written by mutants for mutants. I'd subscribe if they had a comics page. The Golden Gate Hotel was